Welcome to the Morally Bankrupt podcast. Shane here, along with Dan and Don, and special guest in the booth tonight is Shortbus, the one and only.
Thank
How are
you.
you doing,
Thank you for
Bus?
having me again. I'm glad to be back on the show for my second appearance.
Yeah.
You know, normally when you hear about second appearances in the Panhandle area, it's a totally different thing.
Yeah, normally a repeat offender.
Yeah. So
And
there
much,
you go. I'm on the second appearance list.
Well,
Uh-oh.
old Baton Rouge, you survived LSU and the national title. You didn't get caught in any crossfire or car fires or anything.
Yes. You know, I had to say that the town of Baton Rouge is still riding that high. In fact, the whole state of Louisiana, I believe, is still riding that high. And then, you know, just as you think that things are starting to die down and you think that they just can't get enough of the sports ball action, you segue that into basketball, whether you're talking about the LSU basketball program right now, or you're talking about the Pelicans and the big debut of Zion. There's all sorts of stuff to be excited about over here in Louisiana.
So I'm sure it's one big party. And on top of that, Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras, yeah, let's not forget, there is a king cake everywhere you look in this town. And so I think
I know you're on a diet, Bus. Are you able to survive during Mardi Gras, though? That's the question.
Yes, I think I will be able to survive Mardi Gras this year. I will be making a king cake run tomorrow and grabbing like 2 or 3 legitimate king cakes and bringing them to the Panhandle over the weekend.
Where you get them from? I've heard a place we usually get them from is a place called Marguerite's. I believe it's in Slidell. But
I am going to a place called Calandro's, and man, I got to tell you, this little grocery store, it has got a jam up craft beer selection. And I was in there just because I was like, I've never been in this grocery store. And sure enough, I wandered back to where they have their king cake selection. And man, do they have some bougie king cakes. Real bougie.
Like a gigantic baby doll is going to be the king cake inside of, or the king inside the cake, huh?
I mean, I didn't know I didn't know they made king cakes this fancy. I figured it was just a nice little cinnamon roll covered with sugar and icing and maybe got some filling in there. This looked a whole lot more bougie than that. So
we had the apple cinnamon filled last year, is what we handed out to our customers. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm personally a big fan of the berry filled. So
fantastic. All right, good king cakes. Now to speaking of Mardi Gras and Mardi Gras colors, we're going to the Pelicans and Zion Williamson's debut. I personally thought it was the most dominant debut world history. He's a GOAT already. Better than Jordan. Throw him out of the way.
Zion. Whoa. Pump your brakes, you maniac.
Hot take.
22 points, 18 minutes.
Maniac.
Italy brought us from defeat to a lead in 3 minutes, 17 points. And they finally let the man play ball instead of putting him in for a minute and a half and taking him out. Okay. First of all, I was really mad last night. I told the boys I wanted to fire Alvin Gentry immediately because we lost the game because they pulled Zion with 5 minutes left, and then we ended up losing. But I come to find out it's the medical staff's fault. So I got to say I want those guys fired because they don't know about winning. They have a losing mentality of playing too safe. So Zion's healthy. He's 19 years old. He's in shape. He can play the last 5 minutes of the game and get that W right there. You know.
I'm just saying over the weekend in UFC, there was a chick that fought almost 2 full rounds with a torn ACL. I'm just saying.
Need it. Not important.
Don't need it. Don't need it. Overrated.
Yeah, Zion Williamson, perfectly healthy, absolute dominant individual. He's a giant version of Charles Barkley who can shoot threes. I mean,
he was 4 for 4 behind the line.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's ridiculous. He's already a better 3-point shooter than LeBron James.
Yeah, it's hands down. They asked him in an interview and said, "Man, you looking pretty good in your 3-pointers." He goes, "Well, all I did the past 3 months was shoot threes. I better be good at it."
Good for him.
Well, yeah, I mean, he has that. You know, he doesn't jump, so
you know they wouldn't let him do anything for 3 months except shoot free throws and 3-pointers. Go figure.
But all you heard was he was so out of shape. He was so out of shape.
No, he's just a giant, okay?
I'll say Mark Jackson was riding him about being out of shape.
Have you seen Mark Jackson? He's a fat bastard.
So, all right, let me ask you this. So what happens if they leave him in the game and he ends up blowing out his knee and his NBA career's over? Who are you wanting to fire then?
Fire Zion because he's not worth it anymore. He's hurt.
Right. Right. So this was really a no-win situation for the Pelican staff. Do you agree on that?
Nobody contract. Just write it off. He gets paid. He's number one pick. He still gets $20 million. What are you risking? This is a risk for nobody.
All right. Bus. Question.
Yes.
You're there, man. What the outside of Shane's extraordinarily narrow view of reality, what is everybody else saying about his debut?
I'll tell you what people are saying. They have gotten so used to the mediocrity of the Pelicans team that they just appreciated the little glimmer of hope of the limited time that they had with Zion out there on the court last night. And so even though there was a disappointment that one game lost, when we really probably could have pushed him a little further, I think that they realized that, they pulled him out. They didn't override the medical staff on that call. And I think that people have that glimmer of hope that will by far overdo any sort of damage done by this particular loss. Because let's face it, the way they kicked off the season, very rocky kickoff to their season. Then they've had this little bit of a hot streak here lately. And, they threw Zion out there. He was the Messiah that everybody said that he was going to be. And, they knew that he was limited on time out there with the medical staff. And, well, they couldn't quite get the job done, but they could see where they could get the job done if they had him at his full capabilities and at his full availability. So I would say that, right now that there is definitely a sense of, well, LSU just won the national championship, so there's really not much that can bring them down. So,
right.
This is just a little bump in the road, but there is a lot of people that are like, man, we just couldn't get that win for Zion for his, we could. There is a little bit of frustration in the fact that that they did not override the call of the medical staff there.
Right.
Yeah. It's exciting. So, I mean, I can understand why they probably did it, but as a fan, it's hard for me to not have a different view than a rational one when I'm watching the game. Last night, after they pulled him, I wanted to break my TV, but understandably now, it makes a little bit of sense, and you see the potential there for when he does play 30 minutes a game. He's probably going to average 60 points. So
yeah, they're in the long view of things right now. That's the way they're looking at it.
And they should be. They've got a decent team built around them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the scary part.
There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of shooters on that team, and they really need a dominant big man. That are just
and it's more than just talent. These guys are superstars. These guys are the type of guys that the buzz around them. It's going to sell jerseys just because there's very few times in which you see a team that's just filled with superstars. You think about like the Bulls where they had Scottie Pippen and they had Michael Jordan and they had Dennis Rodman. These guys were legitimate mega superstars, and I could see these guys being just celebrities by the time this is all said and done. Not just a great sports player or anything but like legitimate. There is a magnetism about them.
Well, they all came from LA. We stole them in that Anthony Davis trade, who is going to hurt. So good job, Lakers. You got that hurt bastard. Now that we have the Messiah Zion's back, we can go ahead, make the 8th seed, which would be ideal because the Lakers are going to be the 1 seed. Then we're going to knock LeBron and AD out of the playoffs, and then LeBron's going to have to retire due to embarrassment. It's going to be great.
You and Don made a bet. You want to share, not between the two of you, but on the Pelicans going the whole way.
There's a bet. It pays plus 2,100. Is it 2,100 or 21,000? I can't remember. Either way, you put up $10, 2,100. So yeah. if the Pelicans somehow do win the
It's
title.
21,000.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah, I'm trying to do math.
We bet $10, and if they win the national or the NBA championship, our payout's $2,100 on a $10 bet.
Might as well throw 100 on it.
Well,
they can do it, man. It's not that crazy to think.
What are the odds now, though? The odds might be changed now that Zion's back. See, that's what
they are.
We locked them in early. You know, we
here, I'll look.
I bet they are, because it's not that crazy to think, man. It really isn't.
Well, what Shane explained, there are only so many games out now. It's like if you throw him back in there, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with and at least make the playoffs. And then once they make it, who knows what happens at that point? It's the damn NBA.
We're coming back, too, so we're going to have a bunch of big men down bottom where all year we've been lacking because Favors has been out most of the year. Now you get Zion, Favors, and Okafor, and we got a ton of guards and forwards that are badasses. So, I mean, we're going to
Redick and Holiday.
I mean, honestly, I would throw 4 guards out there and put Zion underneath a 4-1 and then just shoot away. But, I mean, they can't do nothing about it and just run up and down the court.
Just play some Golden State basketball.
LeBron's 40,000 years old now. He can't run up and down the court. If we get them in a full series, tire them out, we got a shot against the Lakers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pelicans are still plus 21,000, side note.
Ooh.
It's not a bad bet, man. It really is.
Win $21,000. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. May have to bet on well, we have plenty of bets that we'll talk about later, but win some bets this week and place something nice on that, just a little hedge, just in case. A little rainy day fund.
Yeah, that's not a bad bet. And if Williamson can stay healthy, man, and stay out of trouble, he's going to be...
They could compete.
He's going to be dominant for a long time.
So they would never arrest him. They just arrest whoever accused him of anything. So...
Or just never hear of him again.
They're like, this guy robbed me. No, he didn't.
No.
What video? Oh, man. Weird. Disappeared.
Sucks. That sucks. He would not have as good of luck as, AB. AB's in some trouble, man.
Speaking of, AB wishes he would have signed with New Orleans right now. They brought him in for the tryout. Did not work out because apparently the league would not let him play. But he probably needs to be somewhere other than where he's at. He's still locked in his house, Dan?
I believe he is, man. He's got a warrant out for his arrest now.
For more than one felony, isn't it?
It was
burglary and battery, wasn't it?
What's that?
I think it's burglary and battery, I believe.
Yeah. His trainer already is in jail.
Yeah, his trainer already got busted for essentially the same incident.
Yeah. That's no bueno for AB.
And especially after that video, what was that last week? Him, that was posted, him going off on the police and everything. My goodness,
everybody. That guy definitely needs some help. I don't know if he's going to get it, but I don't know if it's CTE related. That's the big question. As they said, Aaron Hernandez had a lot of that at a young age. AB's also younger. He's 31, I believe. So,
yeah.
I mean, you're talking about this might be a death blow to some of the football guys. You see a lot of these guys starting to retire. Andrew Luck, Kuechly, all these guys that are 28, 29 years old. This can inspire more guys to retire, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's important to get out of that game early because, I mean, man, you look at Andrew Luck or something like that. I think they're starting to pick up the importance of get your money and go. Get your money as quick as you can and go. Because you can't buy a new brain right now.
Well, especially Luck. I mean, he essentially announced his retirement within so long of finding out he was going to be a father. I mean, you can't really get mad at the guy for walking away from, a sport to where he could potentially get severe brain damage or permanent brain damage to want to be a good dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the whole Junior Seau situation is what really brought
that's
all of that to light.
If you're a football player, I mean, you're talking about guys shooting themselves in the chest. to preserve their brain for study. I mean, it's
exactly
on.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew it was, his brain was scrambled eggs that bad.
Well, I think he just knew he wasn't right, and he
Yeah.
couldn't. There was nothing he could do. There wasn't really any help he could get, and he was a smart cat. He was smart enough to know that, he was going, but somebody else might be able to benefit from it.
And with this AB thing, I mean, I respect the hell out of AB's former manager. I'm pretty sure it was his manager, but he walked away from agent. Yeah, he walked away from him last week, and he said, "I'm not coming back until you seek counseling." So good for that guy for being like, you know what? I'm not going to enable you. You need to get some help.
Yeah, that might have been more of just a PR thing than anything else. I mean, maybe. Think about it. You really want to die on that hill? No.
Either that, or you got to look at it this way. Yeah, I'm not going to be your enabler, but you know what? By not being your enabler, you're no longer my headache either. So
exactly,
yeah. For him, I can only imagine the headache that's got to be.
Yeah, he can sleep at night now without getting 4,000 phone calls about what AB did tonight.
I mean, how many contracts? I mean, dude, how many millions of dollars of contracts did that guy get for AB that he blew?
He just pissed them all away.
Oh my God.
Whew. I mean, as an agent, he probably lost out on millions just on his commission. I mean,
absolutely, without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, doing nothing but trying to help the guy, and he's just literally almost killing himself out there. He definitely needs help. I do know that.
He's a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
So
yeah, he's not in a good place. Not in a good place at all.
And I mean, as much it's kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, I hope it's not CTE that caused it, but at the same point, you want to hope that there's some underlying situation that caused him to go off the deep end like this. You hope it's just not him being just cuckoo.
Just behavioral, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know how it is, man. A lot of people, they just can't handle money.
True.
And I mean, it's hard to really gauge. He was so busy for so long when he was playing with the Steelers that, maybe that was enough to keep him out of trouble. And now he's just got way too much time on his hands and way too much money. So maybe that was just kind of what finally did it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I hope that he actually sees some sort of way to a slight bit of recovery before he ends up in the same position as Aaron Hernandez. But I've been hearing about this Aaron Hernandez stuff on Netflix. Is this pretty good? Is it as good as everybody's talking about?
I don't know if good's the word. I mean, it's more, in my opinion, it's more based upon the whole CTE thing versus the murders. I kind of went into it thinking it was going to be more about the murders and what went down, and specifically on that. It's more based upon his life and how he was, basically split personality and stuff like that. It's not the direction I thought it was going to go, but at the same point, is it bad? I don't think so, but
I mean, it's not what I expected. But I do think it's already been pointed out multiple places online, and that Netflix has changed some of the details. And even the guy that claimed to be Aaron Hernandez's lover said, I was his quarterback and he was my tight end, and we grew up in high school. We were gay together, blah, blah, blah. You go back and look at the roster. That guy was not the starting quarterback for his high school team. So, I mean, I'm wondering how much of this is, ratcheted up by Netflix for entertainment value. Obviously, there's some of that goes on in any kind of entertainment show. They didn't say it was a true story or anything. They just did it. It's a documentary. And also, the one guy that can defend himself is, he's dead. So
yeah, exactly.
You'll never know the real story with that. Is CTE possibly the whole thing behind it? Maybe. But that may have just been an excuse after the fact as well. So I don't know.
So you think they're just using the CTE thing as a platform or Aaron Hernandez rather, really as a platform to try to push
it also
CTE
gives you grounds in court to say that, okay, you can't go after all this money because he was insane, and there's still cases that are still being determined about where all that money's going to go and all this stuff. So whether the Patriots owe him all this money or not. So this may be a PR thing for that as well.
Right.
I don't know. The whole thing, it was definitely entertaining. I will give Netflix that. It was entertaining. How much of it is actually real and what was fake, I have no idea. But, you know.
I think it was poorly produced. It looked like the same producers that did the damn Blair Witch Project, just bouncing back and forth every 5-6 seconds. It's like, stay on one subject.
Yeah, that's kind of I don't know, the documentaries, there's kind of weird like that. That's their new style. I guess if you're trying to win an award, that might be the way to go now. But I'm no producer, so I would have no idea.
Yeah.
I personally found it entertaining, but I mean, it was, if you're killing time, good to watch. But if you got, you're choosing between something better, then yeah, it was all right.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So where are we at now?
Who is in a good place right now? Tim Tebow.
Oh yes.
Tim
Oh,
Tebow.
Yes. What a difference that the world has treated those particular two Gators in their life. One's being exposed for being gay and having CTE and killing people and killing himself. The other one just got married this week and is living happily ever after and is getting laid.
Well, and they both have the same national title ring.
We can't prove that he's getting laid. I mean, there's really, he may have.
You'll know. He's going to big league spring training with the Mets. If that bastard goes out there and starts dominating and hitting bombs, he's got laid. So
right. If he's in the bigs and after about a month, we'll know. We'll know what's up.
Either he all of a sudden gets signed to a contract, XFL or whoever, and all of a sudden is just running guys over and throwing 80-yard bombs. Where'd this come from? He finally got laid. Oh, who knew?
Oh my God! Why haven't we talked about this before? Why doesn't Tebow go to the XFL?
Well, I think he's going to give it one more shot. I don't think he's a guy that would go the inaugural year of the XFL. And he's got a big league invite to Met spring training, but I believe this is the last year of his contract. So next year, that might be the way to go. That and XFL, what I believe would interfere with his ESPN SEC money right now until they work out all the details. So I believe most of the XFL is going to be on CBS and Fox, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I mean,
I don't think they may have some ESPN games. If they do, I don't think it would interfere too much. But I think he's going to wait a year and see how it plays out. And if baseball don't work out for him, then I think he'll play XFL. They'll let him play quarterback, and they had the double pass. So even if he does run split back field with another dual threat athlete back there, you can literally have both passing. It'd be nasty.
Man, I would love to see that guy back under center.
Yeah. Be entertaining. Definitely would love to see Johnny Manziel in the XFL as well. Just for the same thing. You got a dual threat guy back there with the double pass. I mean, there's so many different options you can use on that.
Yeah, there's another guy that had a bunch of trouble, and he would be a really great comeback story, man. If he could get into the XFL and actually do something.
Yep.
I think that could very well be the story of the XFL, the league that came back and then brought back players with it. If they play their cards right, that very well could be the attractive thing that really just it really captivates people. It has that backstory to it. Not only is the league making its comeback, but the players are too. So I can see where that would be a very attractive storyline. And keep in mind, this is coming from the establishment of the XFL is coming from a man that loves a captivating storyline in sports, Vince McMahon. So it makes sense.
Now, but we touched on this on a previous podcast. Want to know your opinion on this? Dan asked me this question, and I have my opinion. I want to see what you think. Do you think any part of the XFL will have a predetermined ending? Any of the game?
I don't think so. I think that they want to. Well, here's what I should ask. predetermined as in Vegas predetermines it, or predetermined as in Vince McMahon determines it?
Same as WWE style, where they have it. They know the winner before the match begins.
So Vince McMahon.
Yeah, no, I don't foresee Vince McMahon booking winners and losers in the game of football.
See,
And I don't foresee that being a business model that sticks around. Professional wrestling was a little different, but for football, I don't think they really. I think that the organic vibe of the storylines, because there are storylines in football.
Oh yeah,
it's more organic, and I think that's what captivates people. I mean, just look at what happened this past year with LSU. An organic storyline unlike anything else you're going to see.
Exactly.
With Joe Burrow, this guy that couldn't play for a few years and hit the transfer portal, ended up at LSU. He was. You got Coach O, another incredible story, and the fact that he was a hometown guy from La Rose, Louisiana.
Yeah,
just a little podunk town in Louisiana. Grew up obviously cheering on the purple and gold. And now he's the head coach leading them to a national championship on a perfect season. So football is all about the storylines. And I don't think that Vince McMahon is brave enough to go in there and predetermine things to the point where, he's got a long range booking of, you know what, those Tampa Bay Vipers, they're gonna win it all this year.
Yeah, that's the same opinion I was of, is that there is some value in being legitimate, especially in my opinion, the gambling aspect. If it's any doubt that there's any fix in that game, people are not going to bet on it. And gambling is so popular now. The money generated from gambling is worth more than any entertainment value you create by fixing the script application.
Absolutely. But, that doesn't stop us from gambling on predetermined sports like WWE, which I'm sure we're going to get to that a little bit later with the Royal Rumble.
Talking about Royal Rumble gambling later on. So, yeah. But
yeah.
So, have you picked an XFL team yet?
I'm kind of on the fence. I'm feeling either Houston or Tampa.
See, me and Don are already strongly on Tampa. So we're with the Vipers. But I'm also going to be going to the Vipers game or two, so I'm kind of partial. It's kind of close. So,
yeah, did you see where they released a map detailing of all of the counties and technically parishes within the United States and the closest XFL team to them?
Yes.
And, sure enough, mine lands on the closest stadium for me is going to be the Houston team, whereas if I just go just a little further over towards y'all's neck of the woods, I could be in the Viper area.
Yeah.
So, but I still think I'm going to pull for the Vipers. It just makes sense until they establish a New Orleans franchise.
Yeah, if they go to New Orleans, then I'm all in.
Yeah. So there's
our closest is St. Louis.
Yeah. I'm going to be a Houston guy.
Uh-oh.
It's already happened. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Cool. What drew you to Houston, man?
What's that?
What drew you to Houston?
Well, there's just not a lot of flashy names out there. To be honest with you, it's kind of an underdog. Connor Cook's the quarterback, They're just not flashy, man. They're not flashy. Sammy Coates is playing for him. There's just, I don't know. I want to see Connor Cook go out and do well. I watched him in the Big Ten for so long.
Yeah, I can see.
But they don't have, I'm looking at the roster right now, and there's just not a lot of star power on that team. I want to see him go out and just shock the world.
That's always a good thing. Like I said, and Bus said, I believe that organic right there, shocking the world, is a good enough story.
Yep.
So I don't think.
And I like Houston.
Yeah.
I like Houston. Houston's a fun town.
It is.
So,
it's all right. It's all right.
Times, some bad times in Houston, but
man,
that's my younger years, so we're not even go down there. But
man, Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Let's steer away from Houston sports for Shane's sake here.
Yes, let's do that. And the next subject, we had a big UFC fight. We have not done a post game of that yet. Yeah, Conor McGregor. What do y'all think, guys?
There's the shoulder of steel.
Shoulder steel. The even bigger question: is he back? Yes or no? Hot take. Go.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
He did that at 170 pounds. Yes.
That guy went in there against Cowboy Cerrone. He is
Legend.
An absolute, no doubt, UFC Hall of Famer. He will be, no question about it. And he finished him in 40 seconds with strikes from his shoulders. Shoulder strikes.
And then a head kick.
Into a head kick, into punches, and never got touched. And he hasn't fought in 2 years. That guy was fighting like he was homeless. Like he was fighting for a sandwich.
Well, he probably spent all that Mayweather money already.
He's worth like $200 million. And he went in there and fought
like he was
like a homeless
fight for a
man
sandwich.
fighting for a sandwich.
Well,
I was really impressed.
Has it really been 2 years since McGregor's fought?
Yeah, almost 3, because his last fight was for the belt against Alvarez, and then he bounced out and fought Mayweather and hasn't fought. And then he came back, lost to Khabib.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
And that was it. He hadn't been back since.
Well, the biggest thing is, I guess, I don't truly believe he was sober his entire training camp this time for 4 months, but I don't believe he was out partying every night.
Yeah.
And because except for against Khabib, he was literally wrecking some Ukrainian or Russian guy in sparring match every day, and then he'd go get hammered. You know,
I feel like Khabib did exactly what he said he was going to do back in 2017, and he beat the absolute shit out of McGregor and humbled him a little bit. And I think it made McGregor realize that he was not top dog like he thought he was.
Yeah, McGregor seems like he's a completely different person now. I mean,
I think Khabib did it.
He's still, a fantastic shit talker. But I mean, like even after the fight, like he was hugging Cowboy's grandma and telling her that she raised a really good kid and she should be proud. Like, man, 5 years ago, do you think he would have seen that?
they're also owned by Disney now.
Do you really?
I don't think that's it.
Do you really think that a guy worth $200 million gives two fucks who runs the UFC?
Nope.
Not even a little bit. What are they going to do? Fire him? No.
You think that dirty rat has killed plenty of careers before? The dirty Mickey Rat has killed plenty of careers.
That's true. But I mean, even if McGregor never stepped foot in an octagon ever again,
doesn't matter.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
One, he could go do whatever he wants. He could go box. He could go to Bellator. He could do whatever he wants. It just doesn't matter. I don't think that has anything to do with it.
He could legitimately, with just his speaking skills, go to WWE and just print money. Print money.
He would make CM Punk look like a punk, and Punk was like the best character as far as crowd entertainment value. And I mean, he's still, years later they cheer for him, but I think McGregor would just put everybody to shame.
Oh man, yeah.
That was my WWE dream match: CM Punk and Conor McGregor.
Oh my God!
Not because it would actually be a good match, just because.
No, but just because the antics.
See,
but the shit.
McGregor just get in there, and it's the build up that counts. It's the build up.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Who the fuck are you? You're sitting down, talking on your little microphone like a little Indian style. What are you doing, you fucking idiot?
And Punk would just be like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Man, yeah, McGregor. I don't know. I think he's back. Shane, do you not think he's back?
No. Well, I was asking you guys. I think he's back. Now, the question is, does he maintain the same focus he has had for this fight on the next ones? Because he just made $80 million again. So, if he made $80 million off this fight, is all of a sudden now he's like, oh, I got another $80 million. Is he still going to be as driven to prove that he, it's be really interesting to see what the next fight is.
At this point, do you really think he's doing it for the money, buddy? I mean, he made over $40 million last year, and he didn't even fight. Yeah. I mean, let's just throw that out there. He made $42 million estimated last year and did not fight.
This year, he made $80 million in 40 seconds last week.
Right. But I mean, unless he's worried about losing the 200 that he already has.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think the money has much to do with it.
Not at all. For him, it's more pride. I think on deep down, that's what he wants to do, and he enjoys doing it.
I think
I think he likes the attention too. You know,
Absolutely.
that's another thing. He strikes me as that type of guy that the most dangerous place to be is in between him and a TV camera.
Right.
Exactly.
So that's just my opinion on him. He really does strike me as one of those attention-hungry guys where he'll fight solely for the attention at this point.
Now,
just to stay relevant.
Yeah.
Do you think he does a big fight again in UFC first, or does he go out and do the boxing foray? I think he's probably going to fight again in March.
It depends on what happens. In my opinion, it depends on what happens between Ferguson and Khabib and whether that happens or not. Because at this point, with what happened with the Cowboy fight, if one of those two guys backs out now, McGregor's ready to go.
Yeah. He didn't get touched this last fight.
So with that being said, that changes the whole aspect of this because that fight's fallen out 4 times already. So if it happens at this point, McGregor's getting either a title shot or he's going to have basically a setup title shot against Tony. Either way, McGregor wins.
I still think McGregor fights in March. I don't know if he's going to get a title shot. They're going to throw him in a match. He'll probably wreck somebody if it's not a title shot. But
the only way they're going to get him in there is if it's to replace that main event. Otherwise, they're going to sit on it and ride the publicity of the next fight as long as they can.
If that doesn't happen, he'll be fighting again, boxing, guaranteed in the fall. Which I think he's fighting no matter what in the fall boxing. Probably gonna be Mayweather again. He went 10 rounds last time. The people going, oh, Mayweather's going to be like 42 now. McGregor's got a better shot. McGregor's already talking about he's training boxing still. He's a lot more stand-up with boxing coaches. So, man, if he doesn't fight,
I think he takes another fight with Mayweather too. I think you're right. I think you're dead on there. I think in the fall it's going to happen.
Sure, but next fight I think is UFC without a doubt.
Yeah.
Well, then when does it happen? Because if it's not,
I think Ferguson Khabib is going to fall out, and McGregor's going to end up being in there just because they're going to ride this, ride her till she bucks you. And McGregor, after that performance against Cowboy, you can't deny him to be the person to fill in at that spot now.
What if Ferguson Khabib falls out? They push Khabib down the road and have McGregor fight Ferguson.
That's what I said. I mean, you could have McGregor fight Ferguson, and that could be the setup for an automatic, title shot for who wins.
That's probably, in my opinion, more likely. I don't think they're going to.
I don't think Khabib's going to pull out of it. I think if anybody pulls out, it's going to be Ferguson.
But
why do you think he would pull out of there?
He has a history of doing dumb stuff like that.
I don't think McGregor would do a short notice fight against Khabib unless he's already training for Khabib. You know what I'm saying?
You just said he was sparring with a Russian.
Just because he's a Russian doesn't mean that it's fucking Khabib.
I know.
As for the first Khabib fight, he was sparring with Russians and drinking. That's why he lost.
Well, that and Khabib is just an animal.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think he fights short notice against Khabib. He would against Ferguson, in my opinion. It would be because if you lose Khabib again, you're not fighting him ever again.
But you're the guy who thinks he's still doing it for money. Why would you not do that? Because Dana White would basically write a blank check for McGregor to step in there at that point to get those pay-per-view numbers.
I don't think he's just doing it for money. He's doing it for pride also. But if he's trying to be legit, you're not going to take the short camp to fight Khabib, who already worked you.
I think the second after he walked out of that octagon against Cowboy, he planned for Khabib being the next fight. Period.
I mean, if he's preparing for him, he'll take it. Because 2 months, that's a camp. So, he could be ready.
I feel like he is just because he knows the history of Khabib versus Ferguson and what's happened, and I think he's probably sitting there getting ready for it.
That'd be the smart play. And you know what? He seems to be pretty sharp, or at least somebody in his camp's very sharp about all their plays. So
absolutely.
So what do you think about him maybe coming back and fighting for that BMF belt?
There's been articles the past couple of days that said that is odds are never going to happen just because of McGregor's too big for a belt that really
doesn't mean anything.
That doesn't mean shit at the end of the day. I mean, it's cool to have, but it's a novelty item versus the other belts. You know, there's certain requirements in certain cases for that, and you know you got to do certain things. Yeah. BMF belt is just kind of a novelty belt.
Well, here's the thing, man. Connor's got something to prove, right? And we've already talked about the fact that he's fighting for pride, basically, right now. Outside of the money and outside of the attention, it's to prove something. What do you say? What if he goes back in there and wins back that BMF belt?
Wins back, he has never had it.
Or wins it. And then he parlays that, and then he goes back and, you know, I don't know how the timeline would work out, but I would have to assume.
I don't think you're ever going to see McGregor fight for a novelty belt.
I don't know. I think he's got something to prove there. Why not?
Well,
if Khabib and Ferguson happens, he's not going to be able to fight until probably May at the earliest, right? So why not go in there and, I don't know. I don't think he's going to fight until probably May anyway.
But you also
UFC 250.
You also got to think, though, he walked away from 2 divisions as champ. He could bounce back to the other division and go back there if he wanted to. I mean, the dude can do whatever. I mean, he can write his own ticket in 3 weight classes now.
He could, but does he want to go through all that cutting? I think he's pretty happy at 170 where he's at right now.
Basically,
with that being said, he couldn't fight Mayweather. Couldn't fight. I mean, Khabib's. Those guys aren't 170.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, so basically, then y'all have the opinion that he's actually doing it for the pride and all that, which brings me to another athlete who I think is now at this point pretty much doing it for the pride and for the accomplishments and everything. Let's bring up Mr. Tiger Woods. Teed off today. He's -3, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
birdied 18 to end up -3,
and he is going for number 83, which would give him the record for most wins all time this week if he somehow won or whenever the event it is. Do you think he has a shot this week? Yes or no?
I think that as long as he can hold a golf club and not use it as a cane, he's got a shot.
Absolutely. I completely agree. If Tiger Woods is on the golf course and feeling well, he is an absolute threat no matter where he's playing.
I think that sounds about right. I'm just chipping in now just because I was like, I haven't said anything in a while. Let's see here. You know, he's always been better at driving 300 yards on the golf course than he has out of his driveway. So,
absolutely, gotta watch out for those 9 irons out of your driveway.
The longest drive Tiger's ever taken was out of his driveway. That's true. Right. That's
most
true,
golf
man.
too.
Yeah.
No
shit.
Imagine cutting that.
$300 million later.
Yeah, no, I think Tiger, as long as his back holds up, man, as long as he's healthy, I think that he's dangerous regardless.
And I think he proved that last year by winning the Masters. I mean, every doubter and every hater who said he was done had to be at least in the back of their head, if not just completely shutting up, going, maybe I was wrong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are they're gonna say, oh no, he's done, just simply because they want to be that guy that was right. But
yeah,
I wouldn't bet against Tiger.
I mean, if you keep saying somebody's done long enough times, eventually you'll be right. So
sure,
there's always that.
Right, exactly. But man, I don't think so. I think he's got plenty left in the tank.
Yeah,
as long as his back holds up, man. I mean, that's what it all comes down to.
Now the question is: are there any Waffle Houses or Denny's course? I know it's actually a public course. It's owned by, I believe, the county out there. It's in a nice neighborhood, so it's between Waffle Houses. I'm wondering, because that could be his problem. He might blow his back out with extracurricular activity. That's what you got to worry about.
Man.
So,
right.
But you also got to think, when was he his most dominant?
Dude,
when he was running through God knows how many, and no one knew anything about it.
Maybe his back and hip were looser back then. That might have something to do with it.
Yeah, no, there's 2 things that can slow down Tiger Woods, and one of them, the biggest one, is most certainly monogamy. I think has proven over the years that when he's got to tighten up and actually, like, go to bed at a decent time
plays terrible.
and not, bang
two separate-
blondes. That slows him down, man. So number one is most certainly monogamy. You can debate that if you want, but good luck. And number two is I would venture to say, and I haven't checked this, somebody can fact check me if they want. But if you do, fuck off.
Hashtag fake news.
I would think that he has probably won 90 to 95% of his tournaments without a goatee. When Tiger Woods grows a goatee, you might as well just fucking bet against him. Because it ain't happening.
Absolutely.
I don't know what gets up his... I think whenever he gets super monogamous, he grows a goatee. And I think that's just a little flag to everybody that bets on him. Like, hey, guys, I don't have a random right now, so don't count on me winning shit. I think that's goatee what that is. So monogamy, goatees, you guys can talk about that all
I agree with Dan. I mean, I've never heard anybody put it out there, but I mean, that goatee is just, it's like witchcraft to that guy's golf game.
Yeah. It definitely, I can't remember him winning a tournament with one.
I don't think he has. And if he has, name it, because I dare you to name it, because, I mean, I just don't see it happening.
I know it's happened. I know it's happened.
Well, I'm sure probably, like the Bay Hill or something that he's won multiple times.
I mean, he's only won 82 tournaments, right?
That's not very many.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, it's decent. It's in the top one.
I mean, if you're keeping track, I mean, it's all right.
He's only tied for first ever. I mean, no big deal.
oh man, I'm using the Google real quick. Tiger was in an interview in 2013. He said he'd never won a major with a goatee.
See, there you go.
All right, gotcha. Well, speaking of the golf, since we're talking about golf anyway, we got a local Panama City guy who finished, I believe, tied 22nd last week, like 16 under. He is now 1 under today. I don't remember what place I put him in. I didn't see the exact final, but Chase Seifert tearing it up out there. Panama City guy. Good for that kid.
Yeah, unfortunately, last week on Sunday, he had his worst day of the week. Other than that, I mean, the first 3 days, he looked solid.
Well, anytime you shoot 16 under and then you get like 20th is like, Jesus, that course is unreal easy, apparently. I think the winner was at 26. I mean,
yeah.
But
yeah, when people are shooting 8, 9 under a day, that's pretty crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, good for that kid.
Yeah, he's -1, and the leader is currently -6.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, he looks good, man. I mean, and you got to think, he hasn't. How many times has he really been in a situation where he's got to actually really go out and try to fight his way up the leaderboard on a Sunday?
Yeah, exactly.
That's new for him,
This would be a good tournament for him. He makes the cut. He gets to compete with all the big boys that are out there. I mean, he's beating Ricky Fowler right now. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's a lot to be said about it. He's doing really well.
Yep. So where are we at now? We got any more topics? I know we got Royal Rumble coming up. Do we got anything in between?
Not unless there's something that you or Bus want to talk about.
I'm trying to look up his betting odds right now. He is currently plus 42,000.
Ooh, for Chase?
Yeah.
Well, Chase Seifert. We may have to place a little bet on him. Panama City boy do work.
I'll bet $1 that way it turns into 420.
That's your favorite number, John.
I see what you did there.
Wink, wink.
I see what you did there.
I think that was a marijuana joke, guys.
Bus, don't you expose my jokes.
Oh, sorry. A little bit of the devil's
that was so subtle. You just calm down over there.
Is marijuana legal in Indiana yet, Don?
Not at all.
It won't be. It ain't happening.
Our governor has said it will not be legal in Indiana until it is legal federally. So
even if it ever does become legal, every county in the state will outlaw it.
There's already a county in Indiana that I will not name right now. I may later because fuck them for this, but they've already put in or are already voting to try and outlaw it once it becomes legal.
Yeah.
So that way, even when it becomes legal, you still can't sell it in their county.
Yeah. It's the county that I grew up in.
Is it sort of like how alcohol sales work, where certain counties they can just black it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
It's exactly like that. Yeah. That's the county that I grew up in. Immediately, whenever the nation started approving, marijuana.
Nope.
Yeah, they're like, oh, marijuana. You say? Absolutely not.
Yeah, so you can't. So even if it's legal, you can't open a dispensary. You can't,
Can't grow
sell,
it. Can't smoke
can't grow anything. Can't sell anything in, your gas station. Nothing.
Yep. Yep.
Well,
Would you really buy weed from a gas station? Does that not just sound sketchy?
I hope at some point during my life I can walk up to a gas station. I can order a 20-pack of J's, like a pack of cigarettes.
Well,
I hope that happens.
To be fair, in most cities you can walk to a gas station and order joints right now. It's just not really legal.
Yeah.
It just depends on what gas station you're at. Who's hanging out front.
I think in Panama City, I think if you go to the Dodge's gas station in Panama City, it's really just behind the place.
It's more of right.
It's the first few blocks behind behind Dodgers. I think you just knock on a door at random and you can actually buy marijuana.
It's like Russian roulette. If you don't get shot, you can buy some weed.
You get hooked up if you don't get killed.
Oh man, Dodges. They got great chickens though.
Gun. See, did you get a gun or weed behind the door? That's the question.
Yeah. And most often both.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's some places in Biloxi, Mississippi like that too. Let's not pigeonhole old Panama City.
There's places everywhere.
There are.
There's a former music establishment in Greenfield, Indiana that was selling it out of the back.
Well, Bus can attest. You used to walk up down Bourbon Street. It's basically like people walk up to you. It's like you ever been in New York where they show the jacket with all the watches and jewelry and shit? They open it up.
Yeah.
Bourbon Street. Whenever they're walking around, just here's the jacket. What do you want? Right from the cop.
So you can't do that anymore, or they don't do that anymore.
No, they still do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you still do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Bus still has his jacket.
Yeah, but Bus is though he's doing the flashing instead. Though he's walking around in a trench coat. It was.
Yeah. Nobody ever realizes what he's got in the jacket.
Yes, I'm still out there holding it down by the actual fabric of the real morals and integrity that we just do not have here. I make sure to hold that tradition down.
Absolutely. Well done, sir.
Bourbon Street.
Yes.
God, I've been there in so long. The last time I was on Bourbon Street, I had my mother and my father with me. And, it was one of those things where we were just kind of going to go take a walk and kind of take it all in. And I've been down there quite a few times, so I was going to kind of show them some cool spots. We were on Bourbon Street for about 3 minutes, and my mom's eyes were about as big as, like, freaking silver dollars, man. She turned right around and walked right back into the hotel. I was like, all right, well, I guess this isn't happening. So,
I've been to Bourbon Street since I was 17.
Yeah. That place is a riot. But, Anyway, let's get on to this Royal Rumble.
Boy.
Let's talk about this for a second. Man, I'll be the first one to admit that I haven't watched wrestling in probably the better part of a decade. So, resident expert Shane, and of course, Bus, and of course, Don. You guys all soak this in. Bus, what do you think? What do you think about this Royal Rumble coming up, man?
Here's the thing. I think that any fan, and even the non-fans, anybody can watch the Royal Rumble and find themselves captivated, because this is really the kind of the kickoff of the season in which anybody can really find entertainment in wrestling and the storylines. This is such a variable going into the WrestleMania that it's an interesting element to the world of wrestling. So if there's one thing that you should be able to get into, it is the Royal Rumble. And this year they've got it emanating from Houston, Texas. So I don't know if that is an indication that we might be seeing some surprise entrants that may be, from the Texas area, but with that, you never know. You could see some legends like Booker T or somebody show up. You just never know.
So what are your guesses for as far as legends that are gonna make appearances then in the actual Rumble?
Ooh, well, I know that there's been a lot of talk about Edge making his return. The guy had to, he had to leave wrestling. He retired about 9 years ago, and there has been some little indications around the web that he very well could be coming back for this Rumble.
And he's been cleared.
Yeah, I saw he was medically cleared.
He is medically cleared to come back. And so some of his Instagram posts have showed that he is in what I like to call that Saudi shape, that Saudi Arabia shape, ready to come back and Rumble. So, and get that Saudi Arabia payday from one of these big Saudi pay-per-views they like to do over there. So could he be coming back for the Royal Rumble? It could happen, and then maybe he parlays it into an appearance at one of these Saudi Arabian shows.
I would agree with that 100% because that's essentially what they did with the likes of like Undertaker and Goldberg in the past as well.
Yes. And, another thing I could foresee happening with this is, what do people love? A good comeback story, like we were talking about a little earlier. And I think Edge is probably the ultimate in comeback stories. But I know WWE, they like to have some surprises in there, and that could be their surprise. But they also like to have some more notable names outside of the WWE realm that could also come in and shake things up going into the Saudi shows or into WrestleMania. And I think some other names you need to keep an eye out for. I know you guys mentioned Cain Velasquez earlier, but you know who I think could really be an interesting spin from the outside sports world is Tyson Fury.
He's got to fight. He's got to fight in February or March though. That's not going to happen. I don't think.
Well,
I doubt he can right now, even to appear.
WrestleMania's in April, so he may not show up. He could show up for Royal Rumble. He may not actually participate.
He may not go. He may not put on a full appearance at the Rumble, and the fact that he's in there for a elongated time, but he could make a quick flash appearance, and I think that it wouldn't mess him up too bad with any sort of upcoming fight.
No, in the rumor mill is around him anyway. Is he is, and again, this is completely WWE rumor, so take it for what it's worth. But the rumor is he's going to be a long-term tag team partner with Braun Strowman.
That'd be
that
fantastic.
Very well could happen. That very well could happen. But I think that Tyson Fury is another one to keep an eye on.
Guys, I got to segue real quick when we're talking about Tyson Fury. I heard this rumor on the radio the other day on satellite radio in regards to Tyson Fury's training for this upcoming fight. I have no idea if it's true or not. You guys are good at finding Google magic here. Apparently, he is masturbating 7 times a day because it increases testosterone production.
What? What are you talking about?
On the radio, I have no idea if it's true or not. But apparently Tyson Fury is masturbating 7 times a day and or having sex, whatever combination he needs to have. Because it increases testosterone.
I can't even Google that. I don't even know.
I couldn't either because I didn't want to get like red flag for being like fucking crazy.
I don't know how you would even go about. Let's see here.
You need to put the browser in incognito mode and go.
Yeah, right. That's still weird.
Strange.
Still weird. Tyson Fury masturbating 7 times a day. Enter. Just kidding. I'm not doing it.
Strange training technique. Maybe that pop up. I don't fucking know. I heard that the other day. It was like last week. I was like, ain't no fucking way. Ain't no way.
Let's see here. When did you hear this?
This is like a week ago.
Man. Yeah, I can't find anything. Can't find anything that says anything about a grotesque amount of masturbating in preparation for a fight. But yeah, I don't know, buddy. Right now, those claims are unfounded.
Well, if he is going through with that, and he will win. Something new, man. A new workout trend, I guess. We're gonna figure it.
Must have got it from Tiger. He just can't get that much butt.
Yeah, because
Maybe that's it.
Because he doesn't walk up to women and he introduces himself and goes, "Hey, my name is Tiger Woods." He doesn't have that pickup line.
My name's Tyson Fury. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool last name, bro.
British. Walk up. Oh, I'm Tyson Fury. God save the Queen. No one cares.
So segueing back to the Rumble.
Right.
So as far as Boss, we heard your kind of random picks. Do you think anybody is going to pop in that hasn't been discussed?
Well, as far as not being discussed, we're in Houston. You know who wouldn't surprise me? Be a random one. J.J. Watt showing up.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Wow. All right.
Whether he shows up in the Rumble or just being there at the event, I don't know. That would be really entertaining.
What about Gronk though?
Gronk, I could see doing it too.
Gronk has been there before WrestleMania, so I can see him doing it. But J.J. Watt is also older, so being in Houston, because you never know with the Rumble, they always have issues. Sometimes they have guys that say yes and they get hurt or something like that, because a lot of them are older. So that could be a fill-in of J.J. Watt. That's a dark horse, Always.
J.J. Watt is not even on the betting line, so.
Yeah, but I will say. I
like the call, though.
Yeah, he'd be a great wrestler. Why not? But being in Texas, I got to say, you're probably looking at, you got to have Texas Rattlesnake is a possible dark horse.
Ooh.
He's shown up at Stone Cold coming in, the glass break in, everybody loses their mind. And promoting a lot of shows lately, and if that only lasted him showing up on a few Monday Night Raws to promote going against somebody and then having some sort of match at Mania, I mean, that could happen. Because he said multiple times he's in shape, he could do it. He's not gonna wrestle full time, but he can physically do it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't question his ability to get back in there at all.
Yeah. So I mean, it just depends on what kind of payday Vince wants to pay out.
I mean, other than The Rock, I can't think of a bigger pop when their music first hits than Stone Cold. I mean, there's no bigger draw. I mean, that guy just equals money.
I would venture to say Stone Cold's pop is bigger because he was gone for so long. The Rock has made appearances every 2 or 3 years usually. I was in Tampa at the Raw reunion when Stone Cold showed up, and it was absolutely ridiculous. It was the most insane pop ever. I chugged 2 beers and almost passed out. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I was there at whenever he came back at WrestleMania 32, and he made a surprise appearance. And he had actually followed 2 other legends that got humongous, outrageous pops. First, they sent out Mick Foley, and surprise appearance. Then you roll that into Shawn Michaels coming out, and that got a huge pop. And you didn't think it was getting any bigger than that. Then, sure enough, who do they send out next? Stone Cold Steve Austin. You're like, holy crap! And so if you're ever going to get back on the WWE Network and go check out an old WrestleMania moment from 2016, that is directly following the New Day's match with whatever little stable they had. I think it was the League of Nations.
Oh yeah.
So
Sheamus and Cesaro and Rusev.
Yeah, and I think Wade Barrett was in that as well. So,
yeah.
Yes, but that is a moment worth checking out for sure. So
and I have to be just say this. I am jealous of you, Shane, that you were able to attend the one where Stone Cold came out and I quote, you said he stayed there and chugged beers forever afterwards. Oh yeah. I'm jealous of that.
He was absolutely hammered. Like, stayed probably 15 minutes after the actual show ended. They just kept playing his music on loop, and him and all the legends were getting hammered in the ring. He's pouring beers on all the old divas and everything. It was fantastic.
Now, I did find it funny. I was reading after that show that the one legend they said, you need to stay out of the ring, was Scott Hall. They said, nah, you need to stay away.
Yeah, you don't need to be drinking there, buddy.
Yeah.
We don't need any, hey, yo.
Yeah.
Last
Well,
call, Scott Hall needs to stay in the history books.
Yes, exactly. No, that was the funniest part, though. Is that's what I can say about the pop. Is right before Stone Cold came out, it was Ric Flair and Hogan, which was good pop, especially in Tampa with Hogan. It was a good
Yeah.
pop. But then, boom, Stone Cold, and I'm talking about it was like 10 times louder.
Oh yeah, I completely understandable. I mean that pop is just that glass breaks and it's instant chaos.
Yeah, the only one I think would have been a bigger pop after that is if Vince McMahon had walked out with a no chance.
Yeah.
Old stunned his ass. That would have been the biggest possible pop they had. But they didn't bring out Vince McMahon, understandably, because it would just be expected. I think it was trying to be a nice thing to have everybody back together, which is cool. But
plus, that arena really needs its roof. They, simple as that.
Which I got you on that one. I went to a SmackDown last year in Indy, and Vince McMahon showed up to that, which that pop was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, Vince McMahon, always gets a good pop. I'm excited this year. I'm going to WrestleMania in Tampa. Me and Bus are actually sitting on the same row. So we all got tickets together down there. So it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah,
I expect some FaceTiming.
You get plenty of that.
Yeah. So, but back to the Rumble. I was thinking of another person that might be an interesting candidate to show up. And you guys stop me if this is too outrageous and wild, but it would cover the celebrity aspect of a celebrity entrant, and it would cover the ultimate comeback story. Delonte West.
Oh man.
Yes.
He's entrant number 2 right after Brock Lesnar.
He already had a squash match in the middle of the freeway out in LA. Did you see that video? Oh my God. I beat the shit out of him.
That's not a squash. He's just training, guys. He's just training. Don't let the media narrative fool you.
Yeah, you thought I was crackhead. No, wrong. I was training. I was just going out in the middle of traffic and challenging everyone.
Headline Mania, bro.
Because if there's any way to train for Brock Lesnar, it's go out and play in traffic because your odds are about the same.
Man.
Yes, Bus.
Man.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Fight to the Royal Rumble. I like it. Oh.
No. So I don't know. As far as who I'd like to win, if it was me making the choice, the person I would really like to see win is from NXT. I would love to see Keith Lee. Because he is a beast.
And he just won a belt last night, too.
He did. And I think that what we saw out of him at Survivor Series and what we've seen out of him since is just, it radiates superstar.
Well, he's got superstar written all over him. The guy is one of those, if AEW didn't happen, he would already be on the main roster in the big time. But now they got to promote that NXT show, and he's an ultimate superstar. So he's going to be the anchor of that show.
There's no doubt about it. And I mean, really, I don't know anybody that's ever been as big as him that flies like he does.
Yeah, he moves, man. It's unreal watching that guy in the ring. He's a hell of a performer.
Keith Lee is plus 1650 right now,
which is roughly middle of the pack-ish.
Yeah,
that's middle of the pack. Yeah.
I'd be cool with that too. I think he has ultimate superstar written all over him. And like you said, that dude, for his size, his agility is just incredible. A dude at that size to be able to do a fluid moonsault consistently, that's crazy.
Yeah. I actually did production one time at a wrestling show, at a small little indie wrestling show. And Keith Lee was wrestling there. This was in 2016. So I was actually a cameraman for right there on the outside of the ring shooting video. So
yes,
it's pretty wild to see that he went from the little Knights of Columbus little clubhouse to in front of 150, 200 people to here we are. We're going into Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season, and he's the talk.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, and I mean, I wouldn't be upset to see him win. Shane, if you were Vince McMahon, who would you write in?
Who would I write in for?
Who would you put as the victor if you were writing the script?
Man, like I said, Keith Lee would be fantastic. I think the fans would like that. It'd almost be more like of a Becky Lynch winning the title finally last year. It'd be a good feel. I don't think they're going to go that route. I think somebody's going to screw Brock Lesnar out of winning, and that'll be a match at Mania. Man,
see, that could be Keith Lee that screws him out. He may not win, but he may. I'm just going to go ahead and predict that Keith Lee will make an impact, whether he wins it, whether he eliminates Brock Lesnar, whether he eliminates most people in the whole Rumble for the night, whether he goes, he's in the Rumble the longest overall. He's going to have some sort of stat by the end of the night.
You know, I'm going to go with a dark horse that most people can see. They've already had some chatter between each other. This is who I would write in personally if I'm Vince McMahon, but granted, there might be some personal reasons why he would not do this, is CM Punk, because him and Rollins have already been chattering back and forth on Twitter since Punk took that Fox job commentating. So that would not surprise me at all if CM Punk surprise entrance comes in and wins, you know.
Well, right now you've got CM Punk at plus 650. Roman Reigns is actually your favorite at minus 185. 650. Yep. 650. So Roman Reigns is at 185, minus 185, and you got Drew McIntyre at plus 400. Then you've got CM Punk at 650, Brock Lesnar at plus 750.
Which Lesnar being number one, he's not going to win because, I mean, and again, why would you do that regardless? I mean, he has the belt, and then you're going to have him win and then challenge the – yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. No, I think it opens up the possibility for Brock to, one, want to pick a fight with whoever eliminates him, and then two, he fights whoever wins the Rumble. Either that or, you know, he picks that fight with whoever eliminates him, and then whoever goes into the Rumble then challenges at WrestleMania to go take on Bray Wyatt.
So with that being said, kind of a side note, but it affects the picks for the Rumble. Do you think Lesnar is still going to have the belt at Mania?
There's no doubt.
I think he maintains the belt because, I mean...
So with that being said...
the only way he can lose the belt is in a marathon match that, you know, some guy does something extraordinary to beat him. So I think he's going to maintain the belt for sure.
So with that being said, my call with that being said right there being the catch, I think Velasquez is going to come in at number 27 because that seems to be the winner spot.
Yeah.
And Velasquez is either going to toss Lesnar out and or win. But either way, you have that kind of, we'll say, rubber match, considering they fought once in the UFC and they fought, you know, they've had one match in the WWE, and this would technically, you know, be the tiebreaker rubber match.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. I don't see Velasquez winning the Rumble if he eliminates Lesnar because it wouldn't make any sense. Because, I mean, he could challenge Lesnar for the belt, obviously, but if he eliminates Lesnar, they already have a reason to have him, you know, Lesnar will be mad and Heyman comes to have a big show about it and calls him out, you know. So that would already be set up. So I don't foresee him winning if Cain Velasquez comes in, but I would definitely see him eliminating Brock.
So I mean, but at that point, why would you bring back Punk and then, I mean, throw him in that mix necessarily?
Because you go Punk Rollins. Have Punk win it.
But Rollins isn't in the mix at that point.
Well, here's another
the Punk Rollins is Punk Rollins is another story if Lesnar's going to have the belt.
Yeah, but Punk still gets to headline WrestleMania no matter who he challenges. It had to be for a belt.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Lesnar's going to have the belt.
Well, it doesn't matter who has the belt, is what I'm saying. Because if Punk wins, he can challenge anybody. It doesn't have to be somebody who holds a title.
So you're
here's
going to have the first Royal Rumble victor not challenge for the title?
Well, here's another thing.
If Rollins inside the ring at the same time, right? There could be something going on there that would cause friction. I'm just throwing that out there. But that's somehow I think CM Punk and Seth Rollins are going to fight at Mania. That's just what I think.
I think that's a fair assessment. Now, there is a little factor in between Royal Rumble and Mania that we haven't really talked about. And I know we've talked about Saudi Arabia shows, but this is the first time that they've actually had a Saudi Arabia show nestled in between the Royal Rumble and Mania. So could something happen where a belt changes hands there and it kind of alters the course of how we get to WrestleMania? I think that's a possibility.
But with that being said, only certain members of the staff go to those shows.
Yeah, well, everybody we've talked about goes to the shows.
Yeah.
So
it is a big cash grab for the WWE to go to go do those Saudi shows.
Yeah.
Sure.
And actually, Saudi Empire, their investing conglomerate, has first option to buy WWE to match if anybody else tries to buy them out. So
really,
it's fun.
Once Disney throws up their bid, they can match them.
Wow.
Yep. But no, definitely, I think that probably is what's going to end up happening. Something's going to happen at Rumble. They're going to settle whatever the score is at that Saudi show. That would make a whole lot of sense. And then you could even have the guy that wins the Rumble sit out until after that show and then challenge somebody, because they don't have to challenge somebody right away.
But do you think a bigger draw for Mania would be having Lesnar still have the belt and have, potentially the Velasquez, regardless of how it gets there, Velasquez versus Lesnar? Or do you think the bigger draw would be Punk versus Rollins? Because I think it would be Punk versus Rollins without a doubt.
I think that makes the most sense to put the belt in between those two. Because honestly, I don't think that Velasquez versus Lesnar needs the added bonus of having the belt on the line for that match.
Not at all. Not at all. I agree.
And so
Lesnar's a fighter to where, yes, I understand his contract is basically set to where he's pretty much going to have a belt, but he's also a person that doesn't need one to still draw attention. Period.
Correct.
Yeah, I just don't know if it depends on what this CM Punk thing would be if he came back. Would it be a one-off? Because if it's going to be a one-off to where he just shows up for Mania, there's not going to be a belt on the line. It wouldn't make really a whole lot of sense. But again, you never know what's going on in Vince's head. I mean, the fact that he's even sniffing around, he's gotten thrown some money somewhere, even though he's an employee of Fox. But whatever.
But here, something else we have addresses. What if Punk is just coming back solely to put over Rollins and to build him as even that much bigger of a star?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because let's think about it. They let Lesnar put over Rollins.
Yep.
Yeah.
They've let Roman put over Rollins. They've let a lot of people. They let Hunter put over Rollins. So you look at the who's had to eat the pinfall to Seth Rollins, and they're just going to keep on throwing him people just to pin. I mean, there's no limit to it at this point. So I think that the building of Seth Rollins continues, especially now that he's running heel, and he's running hot heel too.
Yeah, well, that new band of buffoons he has.
Yeah.
Oh, they're crushing it.
And who knows? Maybe that is something that comes into the factor. Is maybe we see a match between Buddy Murphy and Seth Rollins where there is chaos within the Rumble, and you know what? It gets settled at WrestleMania. As much as I would like to see a long-term investment into the storyline with Buddy Murphy in this stable with these guys, they may have just thrown him in there so they can go ahead and get him ready for a show at Mania. So I don't know.
It's going to happen because you have AOP, who's a tag team. All of a sudden now they got these tag belts, Obviously, that's going to build some animosity there.
Yeah.
You know, you got two big giants watching you be the tag team champions. So, I mean, maybe that could be a thing. You never know. If they're all in the Rumble, I think that whole conglomerate is broken up during the Rumble somehow.
Think so?
Yeah, because you could have them all. You can have them all fight each other during Mania if you wanted to. But
I think AOP is going to kind of be Rollins' bodyguards for a while, just because that right now that's the storyline that's working.
Yeah, but in that backstage shoot that they had the other day, they were trying to sell the kind of looking to them in a weird way, like they were looking down at Rollins and them behind, like they were kind of just like, whatever, you guys are tag team champions. Like the looks on their faces, I don't know if y'all paid attention to that. So they were trying to sell almost like, okay, whatever, guys. Yeah,
and I'm cool with that. I mean, I think AOP has been underutilized at this point, honestly.
Oh, yeah. They're fantastic. But
yeah, and as a tag team, they had some bumps in the road with injuries and everything. But I think now that they've been rebranded outside this whole weird gorilla thing they had for a while now, and now they're like a couple of suits wearing hitmen type situation, whatever vibe they've got going on. They kind of come off a lot cooler now than what they were for a little while there too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right now you got to think. I mean, it's basically like it's almost a mini authority all over again right now.
Yeah, pretty much what they're trying to go for with it.
Yeah, it's like they upgraded the Pokemon in the background,
Yeah, pretty much.
So bigger than the J&J security.
Right,
so to go backtrack a little bit. So if I was the person writing, just personally, just because I'm a huge fan, I would want Rusev to win, just because. I think every day is Rusev Day. Just saying.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
Day. But they're already pushing. That's the Mania angle.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not that's not going to work. He doesn't stand a chance just because of the side storyline that's already going on. But me, if I was writing, that's who I would want to see.
Yeah. Or if you could have fucking Rusev win, and then I want to have a cage match with Bobby Lashley. Oh God. Like, not challenge for a title, just beat the guy's ass. That would be.
It's interesting. They've only had one cage match in the history of WrestleMania.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's because it's outdoors.
Well, no, they've had the Hell in a Cell match there several times. In fact, they've had an outdoor Hell in a Cell match. But as far as the traditional cage, they only had one cage match, and that was back, I think, at WrestleMania 2. It was Hulk Hogan. Yeah, Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy was the only cage match in history.
I watched that one night. I was on the network. I did pull that up. That was a good match, actually. I didn't know that was the only one, though. That's
but with how the layout is of the setup, though, I don't think a cage could suspend where it normally would, though. So how would that even work as far as logistics?
Oh, yeah, it absolutely can. Because if you go back and watch WrestleMania 28, they had a cage up there. They had the Hell in a Cell. So they had the cell up there, which is bigger than the cage because it encloses not only the ring, but it also encloses the mat and everything on the outside. And it gives a little bit of it. The actual structure runs out towards the barricades. So they can do that. That's not an issue.
So why haven't they done it then? Why has it only happened one time?
Because Mania doesn't need it.
Yeah,
it's only so big, man. It's
they don't need to risk. They don't need to risk the injuries for that potential of a match for a card that doesn't need it.
I mean, Bus, what do we pay? I think $285 per ticket for where we're at, and we're mid-level.
And that's cheap, I would think, honestly.
And we got
the best bargain in the. I think we've got the best, genuinely the best dollar for your bang for your buck seats in that house.
We got it early. We had, I think it was Bus and my buddy Brian were on at the same time, trying to just get in for whatever they could get pre-sale. And so, I mean, I forget what row we're in, but we're good seats, but we're not like beside the cage or beside the ring or anything. and they were 285. So,
Well, I'm just saying now, if you guys decide to go next year, and if you don't put me in this whole ticket pool, I will drive down there and punch both of you.
It's not very nice.
Understood.
That's a
right.
that's a hell of a road trip. You gotta swing on down
There's
to
gonna be a lot of-
Louisiana, then swing
gonna
on
be
over
a
to Florida.
There's gonna be a lot of
You
punches.
have to stop in Biloxi for a while.
John, that is a lot of swinging up for you, though, because, I'm 6'6", Bus is 6'5", so that's a long way up.
Hey, I kick out one of your knees before I punch you, and you're the same height,
All
so
right.
we're good.
So let's wrap up the men's portion of this Royal Rumble. Who do you think wins on the men's side?
I'm going
Plus-
CM Punk.
Punk. Okay.
Yep.
Bus.
Ooh. It's a man that we haven't brought up his name, but I think it's time. Kevin Owens.
KO. I'd love to see that.
The 1050s plus 1050 right now.
I hate to say this because, as we discussed, I'm not a huge personal fan of his entertainment value, but I think whether we like it or not, if Lesnar's going to go in with the belt, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Roman Reigns. With how much they've been pushing him for the past couple of years, I think it's still going to continue.
All right.
So nobody's picking Lesnar to actually win this thing, huh?
No, I don't think he's the snowball's chance in hell of actually winning the event. No.
Well, I'm taking Conor McGregor at plus 8,500. I've been having a really hard time. I've been sitting here looking at this, and I'm really stuck between Conor McGregor at plus 8,500 and Triple H at plus 8,500. I'm not really sure, but I think I think that's the direction, man.
You mentioned in pre-show that there was a presidential candidate that was listed on there.
Oh no, I was actually looking at last year's.
Yeah, so Dan was looking at like 2 or 3. Yeah, that was old news.
That was from the 2019. Yeah, Trump was on there at like plus 15,000.
But Trump's not listed on this one this year.
No,
unfortunately,
not at all.
What is the most random celebrity at the highest odds that you see down there on the bets?
There isn't other than really it's pretty much technically CM Punk.
Is The Rock on there as a pick?
The Rock is on here, and he's actually not that far down. Find him here. He's plus 5,500.
He's about midway.
No. I mean, he's got the same odds as Samoa Joe.
Okay.
And Lars.
Really?
Yeah.
Which Lars? Which I'm not sure why Lars is. I mean, is he even cleared yet?
Well, you never know with WWE. They keep that tight to their chest because they want to surprise you guys show up.
Creepy looking dude.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Undertaker's on here at plus 8,500.
That's no chance in hell that they're gonna. He after his last couple matches that have been an absolute train wreck. No way.
I mean, he's only 80 years old. I don't know what you really expect.
Well, he doesn't. He
might actually be truly living out his gimmick, and he's just dead.
Hey, he's actually undead.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. Completely possible. All right. Well, the women's field.
So you've heard our picks for the men, so let's move on to the women's.
To the women's. All right. I'm going to start out and say guest entry that is not expected, but is probably obvious. I'm saying Ronda Rousey is going to show up. She's probably not going to win, but she'll be there.
She's pregnant, I thought.
Wow.
That's not people before.
I'm just actually. So I'm looking at the betting odds.
Just were pregnant before, allegedly.
So qualifier, does that make her have to fight in the tag team event?
So Shayna Baszler is the betting favorite. Number 2 is Ronda Rousey.
See, I'm a genius.
Yeah, she's got an unfair advantage.
Yeah, she got also extra hormones. She's extra pissed off if she's pregnant.
Well, you can't gut punch her because that's considered a hate crime.
Probably. Maybe not in Texas, though. It is Texas.
Bus, bring us back. Women's side, what do you got?
This is news to me. I didn't realize. Is Ronda Rousey pregnant for real?
I don't know if she's pregnant.
I don't know. It's not my fault if she is.
Well, the rumor.
I know that.
Rumor is that's why she stepped away is so she could get pregnant and have a kid. I thought that was the whole point in her stepping away.
Yeah, to start the whole family thing. But if she hasn't, if things haven't happened by now, do you think she is just ready to come back and go ahead and maybe say, we'll do the whole adoption thing as opposed to the biological thing, and we'll go ahead and get back to business?
I don't think she enjoyed it as much as she thought she was going to, and I really don't foresee her as coming back long term at all, regardless.
But they're going to give her a shitload of money to work 3 months.
But I think at most she's going to be a Brock Lesnar type of appearances.
And that means that she'll probably get a title and show up whenever she wants.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say that my pick to win the women's Rumble, I think it's gonna be Charlotte.
Okay. What about you, Shane?
Charlotte.
Now, question with Charlotte is she? How many times has she won the title now?
9.
Yeah.
No, 10. 9, 10, 9 or 10, one of the two.
I think it was 10. I think the last count was 10.
She's
won 10 women's championships.
I don't know if they're going to throw it on her again right now. There's a lot of other women that are hot right now that are creating a whole lot of buzz. And Charlotte, she's one of those. She's a known competitor, everything like that. She's always going to get a pop because of the woo, just happens.
Yeah. So who's your pick then, Shane? If it's not Charlotte.
Oh man, this is rough.
Man, you're like contemplating it. Mine is easy peasy. I think Shayna lost the women's title on NXT, so she can come up here and whoop everybody's ass on the main card now.
Yeah, but Shayna Baszler, I know how Vince thinks. Vince is not going to see her as sellable. She's a great wrestler, but she's not a superstar. I
disagree.
I think what's going to happen is going to be you're going to have Sasha Banks is probably going to win. And then come out and it makes sense.
Charlotte, Sasha, and Shayna. Okay.
Sasha challenges Bayley, correct? If she wins, I mean that's.
Yeah, I could see that being a
that could very easily be a storyline. Absolutely, yeah. Best friends turn on each other for the belt.
I mean, that's a WrestleMania match, and then Bayley goes back face. After she gets beat.
I mean, let's just throw a side note of it's my birthday on Sunday, and I would like Alexa Bliss to win because it's Alexa Bliss, but that's not going to happen, unfortunately. I don't think.
I tried getting Alexa Bliss to come on the podcast; it did not work. Tried really hard.
And by really hard, he means one tweet, folks. One.
Well, dude, listen, man. I can't shoot your shot for you.
But you're taller than me. You're more accurate.
Well, she can't see that on Twitter, bro.
But anyway,
maybe she should ride out onto the ring, throw a saddle on Larry Steve, and just get on out to the ring with Larry Steve. And I think she has Larry Steve in her corner. She'd be all right.
I'm cool with that.
Now, for those that don't know, Larry Steve is her pet pig.
Yes. And he has 2 first names because he's Southern.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So, do you guys have any picks for potential celebrity or surprise entrances to come into the Women's Rumble? Because I know we talked about that with the Men's Rumble, but not so much with the Women's Rumble.
Ironically, I'm looking at as far as the quote bets. There is nothing as far as a random celebrity popping in this line anywhere even on the line at all.
Let's see. Man. That's rough. It's almost I'm gonna say Cardi B. I don't know why. I'm feeling Cardi B popping in the Royal Rumble.
If that happens, I will stop watching WWE.
Just because it'd be something so outrageous that it would create hype.
They will lose me as a fan.
That
woman is trash.
Yeah, that's that is an interesting pick there. Let's see
You
here.
never know with Vinnie Mac. You never know. Vinnie Mac.
But at the same point, I don't have any better guesses. I honestly couldn't predict who was going to be a random celebrity.
At Sam Penny last year.
Lizzo. There you go. She'd never go over that top rope.
Not a shot in hell.
What about Cyborg now that she's retired?
They've mentioned that before. I've seen that be a rumor before. That would be awesome. Imagine Rousey comes out, and then all of a sudden Cyborg comes out and eliminates her. Whoa.
Hey, guys. Side note, IU is up 65-63 with 0.2 seconds left. They're actually going to upset Michigan State.
How? What was that line again you got on that one?
117. They actually paid it out 4 minutes into the game because they said there was no chance mathematically it was ever going to not hit.
Fantastic.
117.
Yeah.
So
they're actually going to win straight up.
Yeah. So for the Women's Royal Rumble, who is the biggest long shot?
It is plus 8,000 is Dana Brooke. That's the highest that is on this list is Dana Brooke at plus 8,000.
Oh man, yeah, that's definitely high odds. She's not gonna win.
No, she's just not a main event character. Sorry.
No,
I don't know about that. I think that she's got the potential. They haven't really put her in a position to shine quite yet. But I do find it interesting that her and Batista have been going back and forth on Twitter.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe they could see a potential storyline blossoming somehow out of that increases the trajectory of her current career path.
My prediction is Triple H, Stephanie versus Batista, Dana Brooke at some point.
that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, Triple H did rip his nose ring out.
But they've always had, the up and down past, with Evolution and all that. I mean, they've always been up and down. But what better draw at this point versus bringing in, the four of them and just having a mixed tag match?
Yeah.
Because again, you're not going to promote Dana Brooke better than that.
No, that's solid, and that also leaves Bautista and Trips can pretty much carry the show.
Yep.
And then the girls can, have their moments too. Because even Stephanie can still wrestle, so it'd be good.
You know who else is a good celebrity entrant that actually might make it into the Rumble? And I was thinking about that. She's had matches in WWE before, but Maria Menounos.
Yeah.
I mean,
I could see her getting involved. She won't win. She won't make that big of an impact, but she very well could be one of those surprise celebrity entrances. And
sure.
I could see that.
Yeah, and they won't spoil it, and talk about it on ESPN or anything like that beforehand. I think because I don't think she would be necessarily everybody's going to tune in and see what Maria Menounos does. It's going to be a fun little surprise, But although it's I think if there's anybody that's going to be a celebrity particular entrant that could show up, it would be her. Another surprise entrant, I think it wouldn't be such a bad thing to maybe see Trish Stratus or Lita pop up too, because it's been a while.
Yeah, definitely. Probably Trish is more probable. Lita, though, she could pop up whenever. So,
yeah,
I bet money on Trish before I would Lita.
Yeah,
because Trish has been to some of these reunion events and stuff like that. So,
yeah. We'll see. But it's going to be which Rumble do you think is going to be the better Rumble though? Men's or women's?
Yeah.
I'm going. This is kind of rough because they always seem to try to put on a better show with the women's stuff right now. So there's usually sort of drama going on. But I think the men's this year, there's enough potential surprises that it will make it better. The surprise entrance.
I agree, and especially if Punk makes his return, That place is going to go batshit crazy.
Yeah.
See, I don't even think it's the return of Punk that would make it the bigger, headline. I think, honestly, the return of Edge would be more captivating than the
Edge would be huge.
Yeah. So
I'm a Punk guy.
I don't know. We will see in time, I guess.
Absolutely will.
So we got. What are the other matches we have on the card, Dan? Start from the beginning. I know you got it pulled up.
Well, here we go from the beginning. We got let's see here. We got some Shorty G versus Sheamus.
Sheamus, easy.
I'm thinking Shorty G. Shorty G's the man.
Sheamus is minus 795. Shorty G is plus 465. If that tells you anything.
Ooh, yeah.
Shorty G. Shorty G is at least he's entertaining. He's probably going to get murdered.
We have
I'm taking him.
Bayley versus Lacey Evans for the Women's SmackDown Championship.
I don't think they throw the belt on Lacey this quick. I'm going to go with Bayley.
I'm going to go Bayley as well.
Okay, then we have Becky Lynch versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship, which I think this is a no-brainer that Becky's going to win because they're not going to make Asuka 2 belts when her promotions are not good.
Yeah, she's pretty bad promo-wise. Yeah,
I'm going to pick Becky just because she's had the Raw Women's Championship since WrestleMania, and they're building up the fact that this is the longest reign for a women's champion. And I think that, a big reign deserves to end at a big show. And the only thing bigger than Rumble is Mania. So we're this close to Mania. I think that the smart money would be on she maintains through the Rumble or through
absolutely.
With Charlotte Flair pick, because have Charlotte Flair challenger at Mania if she won the Rumble. So that makes sense.
All right, and then we have looks like one more match on the card, and it is Bray Wyatt, otherwise known as the Fiend, versus Daniel Bryan.
Well, I just like to go ahead and say RIP Daniel Bryan. Nobody's beating the Fiend. If they have anybody beat the Fiend, then it just ruins everything. So,
agreed. I don't think that. I mean, I think it'll be an entertaining match to an extent, but no offense, but the whole ripping the hair out gimmick was pretty sad at best.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done a lot of marketing and everything leading up to this, but it's just not the pop that I would expect out of a Universal Championship match at Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's got to be the Fiend all day. Bus, do you think anything different?
I just don't see. I don't see that there is a way to get a victory over the Fiend by pinfall or submission right now, and that's really the only way you're going to win in this match at Rumble. And I think that's the only way that you're going to. So with that, I don't think that there is a path to victory for Daniel Bryan in this. I mean, if they're going to take the belt off of the Fiend at any time, I think they got to do it in a fashion where he's not getting pinned or he's not, submitting. So it's got to be like a multi-man match where it's like a 3-way or maybe a ladder
Money
match
in the Bank.
Something like that. A Money in the Bank cash in would also make sense. But I just don't see them with the build that they've got on the Fiend right now. I don't foresee them saying, let's go ahead put Daniel Bryan over this one. So I would foresee the Fiend winning or losing in some very spectacular fashion outside of just your old, pinfall match. So there's my opinion on it. It's going to be the Fiend all day at Royal.
Absolutely. I would bet on the Fiend with the confidence that I bet on LSU for the national championship game.
Exactly. Who would you foresee down the road challenging the Fiend that is like a legitimate force to beat him? I mean, the only ones I can see them possibly throw out there would be a Lesnar, a Roman Reigns, maybe. I mean, or you bring back another legend. I mean, that's really the only. You can't have a normal guy beat him. It makes no sense.
I mean, me as a fanboy, I would like to see the Demon, Finn Balor, the Demon, actually take down the Fiend, but that's just me.
Yeah, but I mean, it's, I don't know. It would be ruining one Demon persona for another. Like, I would ruin two main event type deals.
I wasn't a big fan of the Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor build up to the match that they didn't have to begin with, where it was going to be the Demon King versus Bray's sister Abigail. I just wasn't really feeling that build, so I don't think that that's necessarily the clash that's going to be the thing that where we see the exposure of the Fiend's weaknesses. I could see, man, I'm gonna have to say maybe Keith Lee.
Either Keith Lee, Braun Strowman, maybe.
Yeah,
that'd be finally Braun, because they got a little time back there to be into the family back in the day. Yeah. Maybe time together, and then all of a sudden, Braun being like, "You made me be this animal or whatever."
I feel like Braun's one of those guys that he's such a big draw, he doesn't need a belt, and I feel like that's why they really haven't given him a big run as far as the belt's concerned, because he doesn't need it.
He never really had a belt. He just beat her by his ass.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he doesn't need it.
I find it a little. I'm not sad for Braun because I think Braun's great, and I just he's got to feel it every time he gets closer to Mania, knowing he's right there on the cusp. He always, about this time of year, he looks like he very well could be in the running to main event WrestleMania for a title, doing some big things to the show. And then, like last year, now it looks like he's going into the pre-show Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Yeah.
The year before that, he's going into a novelty match where he tags with an 11-year-old to beat Sheamus and Cesaro.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at some points they're kind of, and I hate to use this comparison because I think they wasted this other person as well, but I feel like it's almost the same as what they did to Ryback. Like they would get him so close and build him up so much, but then never actually give him the cookie at the finish line.
Yeah, he was jobbing out to Kalisto on the pre-show. So
yeah.
I think that was his last appearances, putting over Kalisto on the pre-show. So
yeah, I feel like it's the same thing. It's just they build him so much, but they never actually give him that cookie.
Yeah. So I would like to see. I would certainly like to see bigger things for Braun Strowman. I'm a big Strowman fan. I really am. So
if Strowman somehow won the Rumble, I'd be ecstatic. And normally, if you're just a normal person watching the show, you'd be like, "Oh my God, Braun's got to be the favorite." Which, yeah, by all means, he should be the favorite. But you never know where creative's going to go. So
now, keep in mind, Braun has won a Rumble before.
Correct.
He won now not a lot of people like to pretend this Rumble ever happened, but he did win the greatest Royal Rumble in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
And he had like an 8-foot-tall trophy.
Yeah. And his own belt. But you never saw either one of those on TV ever again.
Nope. Vanished.
Because it mysteriously, that just doesn't really happen. So, But yeah, so Braun would be an interesting one to come in and win the Rumble too.
Oh yeah, I would love it if Braun won, and I would have loved to say that'd be my pick, but I just know that's probably not going to happen. So
I agreed. As much as I would like to see it, I just don't foresee it as actually being the end game.
Yep.
What else do we have on the card? We've talked about Daniel Bryan and the Fiend. What do we have after that? Is it just? I mean, is that the card?
That's it on the card.
Wow. Both games are probably going to be an hour each. So I mean,
yeah, but so you got to think with two full Rumbles, just with the entrances alone.
Yeah, because it's 90 seconds between entrances, correct?
Exactly. Times
So
60
that's a
people.
45-minute. Yeah, that's with 30 people. That's 45 minutes, if my math is correct. I don't know.
Minimum per match.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, right there's probably 2/3 of your card right there.
Yeah. So, that'll it's going to be I think it's overall, whenever we look back at this show, I've got a feeling that we're going to look back on the show and say that was a strong overall pay-per-view event. I've got a feeling that we're not going to be disappointed out of it. I think that we're going to have this is going to be look back as awesome pay-per-view, and I think the excitement will be there for WrestleMania, because I remember some years it's like it can take the wind out of the sails leading into WrestleMania, but then WrestleMania still turns out to be WrestleMania. But this one, I've got a feeling that the everything is in place where this could be just one of those knocked out of the park pay-per-views.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to get a absolute surprise, both in the women's and men's Rumble. Surprise entrant that you're just going to be like, oh man, blow you away, because they always seem to have somebody that just blows you away, and there's going to be a crazy ending. So it'll at least lead you into Mania. That's what.
Hey guys, random side note across the ticker at the bottom of the basketball game we're watching currently: Antonio Brown has officially been arrested.
He turned himself in.
There you go.
Smartest thing he's done in about 2 years.
Yep.
Well, all right. Antonio Brown. So does that decrease his chance of appearing in the Rumble?
I would increase it, because now he can come out in an orange jumpsuit as his outfit.
Yeah.
He's got a built-in
gimmick. He could train with nails in there for the old fans.
There you go.
Well, all right. Do we have anything else on the docket tonight, Dan? Do we got any other topics that we've left out?
Nothing pressing. Eli Manning retired.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
That's good. Well, that's going to be a big story here in the next couple of days. I mean, how long has it been since we have not had a Manning on the football field?
98 is when Peyton came to Indy, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even then, I think Archie retired in like 94 or 93.
Right.
But those would be the last time since I think 98 on this run. Yeah.
So what do you think? Does he make it into the Hall?
No, yeah. 2 Super Bowls, 7th all-time.
I say without a doubt.
2 Super Bowl championships, and he was the MVP in both of those.
Yep.
And the guy is just the individual accomplishments whenever you run down what, I mean, he is a Manning, and I think that's going for him, but the guy is accomplished as an individual. I mean, maybe he wasn't taking the whole team to the Super Bowl every year like a Tom Brady, but that was a team that was built around Tom Brady. He has always carried his own weight. And on top of that, I think that he has actually made teams look better than what they actually are to get them to the Super Bowl. And so I think that without a doubt, you can't take away his credentials. This guy, absolute. And keep in mind, who are his two Super Bowl wins over? Tom Brady.
Exactly. And I agree with you. I mean, that guy, with the talent he had around him or lack thereof, it was amazing what he did.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with Eli is you got to look at is probably the biggest mistake he's had was signing that 5-year deal after that last extension he signed. He should have gone somewhere else. Coughlin left, fired, whatever.
Yep.
And he didn't have any support after that. The Giants were coasting, just saying we're going to cake up money. We already had 2 Super Bowls in the past decade. Nobody's going to not buy season tickets. So the owner kind of went into coast mode and didn't really put anybody around him. So, I mean, that happens. He should have probably bolted instead of that last 5-year extension. I get it. It was $100+ million, but he could have got that somewhere else too,
Yeah, he could have got paid anywhere. But he's loyal to a fault.
Yeah. And, I mean, good for him for being that way. I mean, got to respect it.
Isn't he the same guy that got drafted number 1 overall and said he wasn't going to go? Where was it? The Chargers?
Yeah.
Chargers, yeah.
He
Yeah.
got drafted and said, nope.
Yep.
Nope, that's not
Chargers
happening.
got, Rivers instead.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he got drafted and was like, no, I don't think so.
Like in the most ridiculous move in the history of the NFL. No.
He's like, no.
You
Nope.
suck.
Nope.
You suck and I'm not going there. How does that work? How do you make that happen?
Archie Manning runs
As-
it. That's how that works.
There it is.
Ask Joe Burrow when he gets drafted for Cincinnati.
Could Joe Burrow do that? Could Joe Burrow say, no, I'm not going to Cincinnati?
Did y'all see the potential trade? I sent y'all that, right?
Yes.
No way.
Well, I got to bring it up just in case.
Well, tell us the rumor.
All right. The rumor is the Saints are willing to trade Alvin Kamara. This year is number 1, number 3, number 4. Next year is number 2, number 3 for Burrow.
That's so wild. That's so wild.
I mean, I can understand why it makes sense, but I don't foresee it as actually happening.
If they would take that trade, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Because, one, we're going to have to give Kamara almost $20 million a year, probably, is one of the top running backs. That also lets us get rid of Teddy Bridgewater, who, if we want to pay him to stay, he's going to be probably $15 million to be a backup, because Breeze is probably going to stay. I mean, you're talking about that's money we can spend elsewhere, because Burrow's contract is going to be a rookie contract. So
How many
even
more
when
years
Breeze,
do you think you have out of Breeze, though?
1. I mean, I love him to death, but I think he's got one more in him. This probably was going to be his last. I mean, he's 41. And this probably would have been his last year, but we got so close that he got entitled onto another one. But, he'll be 42 in next year, and he seems to be wearing a little bit harder than Brady does. His deep ball is not there as much. I love Drew to death, but, when you're bringing in Taysom Hill to throw deep routes, that's not a good sign.
Well,
So
you're not doing the TB12 method.
Yeah. The cheating. What was that? Did you see the Netflix thing where apparently they had the youth clinic or whatever the show was? I forget what it was. But Tom Brady was going and the guy was walking in. Tom Brady was coming out and he goes, "Oh, I come here all the time." His first time? Yeah, his first time. Well, they basically kill you off and then have a clone of you come out next. And that's basically how they're saying Tom Brady was like a clone. But I think it'd be a good play. I mean, even if Breeze decided to play 2 more years, you got Burrow locked up at 5.
I don't think Burrow would possibly stand for sitting for 2 years after the ride he is coming off of.
He sat for 3 years at Ohio State.
I don't think he's going to do it again, though. With how much momentum he has, he can write his check anywhere he wants to go. And you think his ass wants to go sit on a bench for an entire year? If not, you're saying 2?
It doesn't matter if we fucking draft him.
Tell that to Eli Manning.
Yeah, okay.
Nope.
Archie Manning lives where?
Right? He is a Saints guy for sure. He is.
I
You
mean,
can go to-
Joe Burrow would be a good fit in Louisiana. He's still got a little bit of popularity around here.
And
It
it's
hasn't
the
worn off
same
yet.
offense. It's the same offense. That's what LSU ran. Joe Brady took the offense from Sean Payton and made it into a college offense.
Hey, guys, he's from Ohio. He's from Ohio. He's going back to Ohio. Let's face it.
I don't think anybody that is from Ohio wants to go back to Ohio.
Would you rather?
I don't think he wants to, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Well,
I'm not saying he wants to.
He might just decide to sit out and get drafted again the year after. Would you rather go to the Bengals or just accept your career is over after 2 years?
If the Colts don't make any moves, he might end up in Indianapolis if he sits out a year.
I mean, there's no way he's going to sit out a year.
No, there's no way.
No, I don't think
You're waving that much money in front of a kid's face? No way.
No, there's no way. There's no way.
It's almost a situation where do you want to go to Cincinnati? It's almost like getting drafted by the Browns. Like you're going to get 1 year, maybe 2, and even if you have no line or nobody around you and you fail, you're out of the league.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, man, but it is like, I mean, Joe Burrow. Let's not confuse
Get a
the issue
Saints
here.
and then learn.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, and that's the thing. I mean, that would be by far the best thing for him because Cincinnati's just awful. I mean, look at all the guys that have been number one quarterback, like draft picks that have gone to these teams that are terrible and just never panned out because they
Dalton is bad. Just their team is terrible.
no, they're just awful. They're poorly coached. They don't have a whole lot of depth.
They had wide receivers. Andy Dalton looked great. He was at one time considered a top 10 quarterback.
Andy Dalton's not a bad quarterback. He still isn't. This is just Cincinnati is an absolute freaking dumpster fire of an organization.
Yep. So maybe they should decide to take all these picks from the Saints and give us Joe Burrow, and they can get some linemen, they can get some other stuff, and they can be good.
But if you want to draw good wide receivers, what would be better than having Joe Burrow be your QB?
It's not. It has nothing to do with that. It's all about the mighty dollar.
Wide receivers and running backs now are dime a dozen. You can get them in the third or fourth round now and be good guys. I mean, you don't see a whole lot of top first round draft picks and running backs anymore. I mean, you get a Saquon Barkley every now and then, Ezekiel, but the majority of guys, I mean, Kamara was a second round pick.
No, but not everybody's Bill Belichick there, bub.
Well, and the thing is that the NFL has moved away from the running game, and that's why running backs go so low unless they're an absolute stud.
Yep,
Wide
agreed.
Receivers still hold a lot of clout in the draft.
Agreed.
Because all they want to do is move the ball down the field 50-yard increments.
There's so many wide receivers, though, with talent that if you put them, even a third or fourth round pick is fine. I mean, dude, we had Marcus Colson in New Orleans, who was the seventh round pick out of Hofstra. I mean,
sure.
But Drew Brees, so it didn't matter.
Sure.
You know?
Sure. But, I mean, I think the best thing for Joe Burrow is to sit behind somebody for a couple of years and not get hurt. go to Cincinnati and just get slaughtered, have your confidence destroyed. I mean, if he really wants to make a career out of football and not just cash in on a high draft pick, God, he's praying for the Saints to pull through for him.
Saints are going to go ahead and we're going to pull a Ricky Williams 2.0, trade the entire draft. I don't care. At least this time it'll be worth it.
I think you're living a pipe dream, bro.
I don't know, man. I mean, if there's smoke, is there fire? I don't know, but it's not a bad idea. It really isn't a bad idea.
Well, no, I mean Cincinnati would instantly be able to rebuild around Andy Dalton and go hit the ground running at that point.
I don't think Cincinnati will do it because they want to sell Joe Burrow jerseys.
Agreed, but I'm just saying if that trade would happen, that would allow Cincinnati to just immediately rebuild around Andy Dalton.
I don't think they rebuild around Andy Dalton. I think there's plenty of other quarterbacks out there they can get.
Think they're done with Andy Dalton?
Not for top tier price. They're not going to pay him. If he wants to come back for $15 million a year, maybe 20.
And I think that's his only option at this point. But I think he'd be comfortable with that. I mean, I don't think at this point he has any way to argue his way better than that.
Surprise you if we made that trade with Cincinnati, then all of a sudden they signed Teddy Bridgewater. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. All right.
They can have Brissett. My side note.
Well,
maybe talk Andrew Luck out of retirement. You never know.
And Roger Goodell's a punk.
Correct.
Luck's not coming out of retirement. He's a daddy, and his pops is involved in the XFL. Luck's living the good life.
Good. So, all right. I think we're done with topics. If I'm correct, unless I missed something.
I believe so. Bus, thanks for joining us again tonight, man. We really appreciate it.
Yes, well, thank you for bringing your wrestling encyclopedia brain.
Well, I'm glad to do that anytime I can. And so, we'll anytime you guys want me on for a wrestling show, I'm down. And anytime you want me on for any show, even if I cannot contribute a thing, So
your brain
is huge. Something, man. It's just entertainment value. So, I mean, it's pure commentary. You're gold. So, pleasure as always, Bus. And Dan, Don, guess we're going to have to sign out here. The Morally Bankrupt podcast is off the air. Have a good one, gentlemen and ladies, children.